Good morning. Welcome to Why Not Talk number 2. Today, we have my good friend, Rey Rostami. Come on up, Ray.
Oh, Sean.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
From Aflac, who is New Jersey's...
New Jersey North Market trainer.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Third market.
Awesome, for Aflac.
Yes.
So, what's happening, right? We're here to talk about a lot of fun stuff with Ray. Please.
All right. Thank you.
So, what's
Yeah.
going on, man?
Things are great.
Yeah.
Things are great. I definitely want to take this opportunity and come. And I was so happy that you actually, sent me that text, and I was like, oh my God, I've been dying to come. I've been watching every single day.
Right. So, but let's talk about you first,
Sure.
right? So, let's talk about you and your success. What do you do exactly? You are?
I do the market train. I'm a market trainer for the state of New Jersey, pretty much most of the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
My job is to teach, pretty much train everyone in the market in the entire state.
Okay.
I'm a Fortune 500 headquarter employee for Aflac,
Okay.
and as of was promoted this year to that.
Awesome. But
Yeah.
let's go back.
Sure.
So you okay if we talk about your background a little
Absolutely,
bit? Or no?
yeah.
All right. So you had an interesting growing up days, right?
Yes,
Out in
I did.
California. Tell me about that.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was I was a child of war in Iran, and then we moved to Sweden, from Sweden to California. When I landed in California, financially we were in a position to live in the best places, so we ended up. It wasn't bad, but I found myself. I was a knucklehead growing up. Yeah,
Okay.
I was hanging out with the wrong crowds. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
I think I was always smart. I had brains and I had great grades.
We were hanging out with like
Yeah.
crazy bad crowds, correct?
Yeah, I was in a gang.
You were in a gang,
I was in a
right?
gang.
Yeah. So all right, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
you go. So how do you go? Well, because this is Why Not, right? This is about people living why not lives.
Mhm.
And right now you keep kind of deflecting from yourself. You've had some awesome success.
I have.
So you move from Iran, escaping a war-torn,
Yeah.
crazy area.
Sure.
You go through a tremendous amount of discrimination in Sweden as a
Yes,
child. Is that
absolutely
right?
correct. Yeah, it was. It's not as peachy as they make it seem. It's a social country. I did experience a lot of racism. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very tough way to grow up, right?
It is a very tough way to grow up, and ending up here was also unexpected too.
All right. So then you go to California.
Yep.
And you're in a gang.
I was in a gang. Yeah, so
All right, like
I laughed
a
now.
real gang, right?
No,
We're not
it
going to
was
say
a
the name,
real- no, it was
but a real
actually
gang
yeah,
where
yeah.
where people
They're still there. They're still good.
Right,
They got bigger.
They got bigger, and people committing like real crimes. Right?
Some people were, yeah. I wasn't one of those. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that in it, but I got very lucky, actually. Believe it or not, within that organization, I wasn't one of those. It's just one
But
of those things.
weren't you on the verge of committing potentially? I'm not a gang.
No, of course, yeah.
I'm not asking you the name of the gang.
You're always
but
gonna
weren't
be
you
in
on the
it.
verge
Of course, yeah.
potentially committing
Yeah.
really serious crimes?
Sure. It's
Right.
it's part of. It's a belonging, a feeling that you want to have, being a part of a team.
Of course.
Organization that protects you. It's funny that corporate America is just like that. It's
Right.
there's no difference whatsoever, actually, if you ask me.
Right, and that's by the way part of the purpose of Why Not is so people
Absolutely.
can feel like they belong to something completely different, to live a different life. But let's not go
Yes.
into Why Not yet. But
Sure,
that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
And these Why Not talks, as this is only our second one, we're going to do one a week. They're going to be longer than the Why Not huddles, so we can bring in some other concepts and give some examples of Why Not lives. What has truly impressed me about Ray has been to be a person that's in a gang as a teenager in Los Angeles, and now to end up in a situation where you've received some significant awards. I think you even set some records,
Yeah,
correct? Right?
Yeah, I have.
So tell me about what you've done at your career at Aflac. So let's, you kind of wind your way and get to Aflac. It's a commission-only position,
Correct.
right? So how do you end up where you are now? Tell me about your journey.
Sure. I ended up in New Jersey because of my wife, a wonderful person, teacher. We got pregnant. Her family lives here, so I ended up here. And I found myself in Sussex, New Jersey, which I love now. But coming from Southern California to Sussex was a shocking experience. It was a culture shock. However, I found myself, just like most people probably watching this, that the opportunities were so limited. And regardless of the amount of potential you have, as long as if people don't realize you have it, you're just never going to get anywhere. So I started reaching out, trying to get a position, and no one would actually hire me, except for Aflac. And Aflac, it's a great company. And when we started, just like anybody else going through struggles, I didn't have a single.
Now, what year is that, right?
This is 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I didn't have
a few short
anybody
years
here.
ago.
Correct. I didn't have anybody here or any contacts.
You
or
had no money,
connections.
really, right?
No. I mean, we had a little bit of money, and I I always joke with my wife. I said, live in my in-laws' basement, but it wasn't really a basement. They call it the first floor because it has French doors opening out. And I'm like, I live in a basement with my pregnant wife. Great, you know. However, I was very fortunate to have, you know, good mentorship in the beginning of my career. I worked my butt off just like anybody should. Didn't have any contacts or anybody, so build a, you know, I was good. I mean, I got Rookie of the Year position in 2012. I was #1 agent in 2013.
Okay, wait, but you're glossing over these things.
Yeah.
Right? We're here to tell people like an amazing story, right?
Yeah.
So you go from being a gang to being Rookie of the Year, right? And then being #1 agent in 2013.
Yeah, and
#1 agent for what?
For the state of New Jersey.
For the entire state of New Jersey.
Halfway through, and then I got promoted to a state trainer by the end of the year.
So how did you? I know how you did it.
Yeah.
Right, and we talk about this, and we're going to talk about our connection and when you first, you know, got to know me, and I got to know you. How did you do it? Like just in 60 seconds, somebody says, "Listen, I'm in a commission-only position. I'm looking to make more money. I'm in a network marketing job. I own a large corporation. I want to train my sales staff. I don't know what to do." You're the state trainer for New Jersey, correct?
Sure.
Okay, at this point.
At this point, yes.
So what did you do to get yourself from nowhere, making no money, to Rookie of the Year, right? How many agents came in Aflac in New Jersey when the year you got Rookie of the Year?
I believe we had a total of 1,100 agents.
1,100. So you were
Yeah,
#1 out of 1,100. Rookie of the Year out of 1,100 new agents.
Yes, Rookie of the Year out of probably 300 people that came on board.
Okay, 300
And I was the
new agents.
#1 account opener out of 1,100 people.
And #1 account opener out of
Yep.
1,100 people.
Correct.
So you're in a you're not a top 1%er. You're a top 0.1%er, right? A 0.1%er.
Sure.
How did you become a top 0.1%er at Aflac in a commission-only job?
It was very interesting. To be honest with you, if you asked me in 2012, I don't know how I did it then.
Knowing
then.
now, looking back.
Knowing now, looking back, is completely different. I think I truly believed in building relationships. I believe in rapport was the #1 thing you really needed out there was rapport, building relationships and proper line of communication with these individuals and not giving up.
Right.
And
You certainly had to have an awesome process.
I got to have the top-notch systematic process that you could. It has to be transferable systems. It has to be transferable system that works. And I found myself in one of those transferable systems, and it just worked out for me because I was relentless. I didn't have a choice. I had a pregnant wife.
We did have a choice because listen, there's a lot of
That's
people with
true.
pregnant wives,
And Right.
and tremendous financial needs that are able to do things. But you were able to remain at cause, right,
Yes.
and to manage yourself at a very high level. And so you're saying was because I had this, but your psychology, because I had a pregnant wife, but your psychology was such that you were able to take massive zone action consistently.
Absolutely.
Fair statement?
Yep. And one thing I realized is my massive zone action doesn't have to be 8 hours out of your entire day. It could be 1 hour of just massive zone action and produce ridiculous amount of results.
Right, because you and I have had some great conversations
Yes.
about this.
Yes.
People often don't recognize what zone action is.
They don't.
All right, and we'll get to that in a second.
Sure.
So you're doing great, and congratulations.
Oh,
brother.
thank you.
All right,
Thank you so
I'm proud of
much.
you, and
Thank
that's and I mean that sincerely. Like,
No,
when
of
I say I'm
course.
proud of you, I mean you are an example of possibility.
Thank you.
And you could have examples of possibility making $10,000 a year. You could have examples of possibility making $10 billion a year. But to me, you're an example of possibility, Ray, because you went from somebody who had every reason to fail, dude. You're in a gang in the inner city in Los Angeles, right? With no mentors, no guides, no nothing.
Yeah.
And so you end up in a situation now where you're a mentor and a guide to a ton of people in the state of New Jersey that look to you for leadership and everything that you're doing. That inspires me and fires me up just to be talking to you. You know, and I'm like with all my heart, I mean that. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I told my wife too. I said, before I met her, she's been also a great part of my life to change my life for the better. And I told her, I said, before I met her, I didn't think I was going to live to see 40. That was my perception, and here I am, 41. I beat it. I beat the odds.
That's awesome.
I beat the odds.
And like amazingly, phenomenally awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So let's chat about
Sure.
some things that we have in common. So
Yes.
we got to meet, I would say,
End of 2013.
end of 2013.
Yes.
So when you met me,
Yeah.
you were already successful, right? You're Rookie of the Year, and you had your.
I thought I was successful. Let's just say it that way. Yes.
All right.
I thought I was successful.
So you heard me talk,
Yes.
right? And it's fun. You and I, she texted a little bit last night, and I told you about the 80-20 concept that I thought relates to my zone action world very well.
Sure.
And real quickly, for those that are out there, the 80-20 rule, it's called the Pareto principle, and it's something I was introduced to recently, and it really, to me, mathematically establishes the principle of zone action, which I believed in for more than a decade now.
Absolutely.
And I would say that if I'm speaking on this video, out of the 11,000 people that are on Facebook, only a fractional percentage will watch the video, right? And only a fractional percentage of the fractional percentage will end up taking action. And that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you.
Yep.
Because you're a special person, and you're ready to make things happen. And Ray was one of those special people. And so now I'd love, Ray, for you to share. You hear a lot of people speak. What it was that your experience was when I got invited to come and talk at Aflac, and take it from there. And the reason we're saying this is not so you can hear, like, wow, Sean's great, so you can hear what is possible for you. Because Ray was already successful, and he's become significantly more so.
Correct.
And helping other people do the same. So go ahead, bro.
One thing I do want to say, the reason I'm here is not because of his accomplishments. Sean has tremendous amount of accomplishments. I'm not here for that. Most of you know that by now. I'm actually here for two things: his contribution and his generosity. And that's one thing that, he actually welcomed me with open arms as an agent to his organization to do what I do. And I couldn't understand what he wanted in return. Was actually very odd. And that was, he wanted some time to speak in front of my people. And we thought about that, and I'm like, why would someone request that? It's such a bizarre thing. And it was very interesting.
For free.
For free. 100% is part of his generosity. He is who he is. And he came and did this. And when he did this, it was, I got to tell you, being blind, I feel like I told Sean, I feel like I was not open, I was a very closed individual, live in this bubble that we create for ourselves called life. And you sit there, and all of a sudden you have one of those moments, and like, oh my God, it just turns your world upside down. So I don't know if I was happy, sad, mad, or I don't know. It was just one of those emotional things when he came in and actually spoke in front of all of our agents we had.
And before that, candidly, like, do most agents or you even really feel like hearing speakers come in?
Absolutely not. It was and I got to tell you, realistically, it was a horrible experience getting people to come in there. It was. I'm not going to deny that. And people are like, why am I here? Why are we sitting? Oh God, who is this guy? What is this? And all of a sudden,
so you have to have a pit in your stomach before this, because if this goes bad,
I had the ultimate pit in my stomach because I had something to gain from it because I was coming to do what I did for your organization. Nobody else did in that room, and I was like, oh my God! At the end of this conversation, everybody's going to come and say, Ray, what's wrong with you? What? And it was a completely opposite experience. It was such an experience that it changed the course of our, we were a brand new state established. It was unbelievable how things just all of a sudden changed. After Sean did his thing and he was done, it was, we had actually, I believe, half of the people stayed behind just to come up and get your number, get your email, and I got to tell you, this is the problem I have with Sean, and I tell you this because it's really funny. I'm just like you. Okay, I wake up. If I make a decision that day, that's a large decision, I have anxiety, I have fear, I have this thing in my stomach, I got butterflies, and I got to tell you, sitting in front of someone that absolutely does not have that, it's kind of mind-boggling. So when I was sitting there, I was having breakfast with Sean, maybe last week? Yeah. I believe so, yeah. So we were sitting there, and all of a sudden it dawned on me that the decisions that we make in life is so clear for him that it's not, I felt like, how does he do that? Because a lot of people make clear decisions, and some of them just go absolutely wrong and they fail miserably, and we call them crazies, right? Like if I say, hey, I'm going to jump off of a building hoping to land on my feet, and you die, I mean, that's a decision you made, and that's a crazy thing you did. But for some people, some individuals in this world that are extremely successful, that what we look up to, regardless of why you look up to them, this is finances, accomplishments, you look up to them, and for them it's not crazy to make those decisions. And he has this capability, have this clarity, and that's why not is so important. it's all about clarity. And that clarity is something that I experienced at the end of 2013. As I mentioned, I was a very successful agent. I could have easily stayed to become a successful agent, but having that clarity, just a snapshot of that, allowed me to go to my powers that be and say, look, man, give me the opportunity. I got the promotion, became a state training coordinator for the state, and in 2015 again that opportunity came and became a market trainer. Now for Fortune 500 employed. It's like you see certain things, and even seeing all this, again last week I had another aha moment. It was like, and I feel like I left from a smaller bubble to a bigger bubble, and then he burst my bubble, and it was just having this conversation with Why Not, and I wanted to make things very clear. You want me to?
Yeah.
Should I just go ahead and say it?
Yeah.
There are four main personalities in this world that they're the dominant personalities. Those individuals watching these videos, I just want to reach out to you and say, look, the first time the first time you watch this, if this, just continue watching these and just take notes, right? If it's mental notes, written notes, I like written notes, but just take notes. Because what you're going to see is that for the type 1 personality I'm going to talk about, it's all about effectiveness. And that clarity gives you effectiveness, right? These are the people that are, bottom line driven. You're already successful, you feel like I did, and this gives you that effectiveness. The second personality, your social, they call you guys life at the party. I'm one of those individuals. I'm completely scattered, and I can guarantee you that at some point you will agree with me. And you need focus, and this will give you that focus. And if you're extremely emotional, which is my second personality, and the people that are amiable out there, and you go based on your feelings, yes, it's great to have emotional, watch a video, and so all of a sudden you get this boost of energy for you to do something. I get that. You want motivation. You want all that stuff. Is wonderful. Those stuff is great. But it's not great if you're utilizing that and that only to get you where you need to go. And you need to watch these videos because they will give you that. I truly believe, and I'm one of those individuals myself, that you can actually stay ahead of your emotions and stay at cause. Whereas, not letting the stimuli outside, affect your lives, like being at effect. So I've been one of those individuals. I was the first one to admit it to Sean. And for those individuals, the emotional individuals that go by how you feel, again, staying at, and then finally you have the analytics. And look, you have the systems. You're a long-term individual. The systems are here. These are systematically proven. If you want the numbers, we'll send you the numbers. There's a lot of numbers associated with that. You could have that too. Material and time will tell you. It's been proven over and over. Same as my organization, his organization. So
right, and let's talk about numbers for a second.
Yeah, please.
So, because a lot of what we talked about on Why Not, it's an interesting challenge that I have, because my goal is to have people watch every day, to be a grounding force of being at cause in their life. So, at the same time, I have hundreds and hundreds of hours of material, right? So I have this challenge of making it impactful every morning to get people moving, but making it short enough where people want to watch every day. And for some people, they want it to be 10 minutes. For some people, they want it to be 2 minutes, right? So I'm trying to balance all of those things on a daily basis. And there's some part of me that feels like, and that's why these talks are important, because they're longer, that people, may think that this is just for motivation. That's not how we connected at all. So if you could share briefly what the talk that I did that you first saw wasn't about being motivated, right? What was it that you came out of there and said, "Oh my God, this is revolutionary"? Because I haven't even talked about those concepts on the Why Not Huddles or talks at all yet.
Right.
So that,
and one thing before I even say that, the Why Not Huddle, it's not a motivational pitch for you to get excited in the morning. It's a clarity on staying focused. Okay, we could do emotional stuff and say you're great and you're fantastic and you can do it. Just go out there and get it. But guess what? If that is actually having a positive effect on you, what happens when we're not around and something bad happens?
yeah, I promise you this,
Right.
and everyone will say it.
Right.
If you want a motivational speech,
Yeah.
I can give you motivational speech that'll knock your socks off.
Right.
I'm not into giving motivational speeches
This
every
is not
morning.
about
That's
that.
not what that's about. And I do pregame talks for sports teams. I can do lots of great stuff like that. It's fleeting, right? And your day is 8 hours long. It's not a game. right? I love speaking motivationally to a team
Right.
before a game. This is not a game. This is a sustained process of life. So why not? It's a little different. But
Absolutely.
what was it? So talk to me about that day and how it kind of, you told me, I think, that revolutionized your approach to business.
Yes.
And what was...
It's actually it's what you did. You actually did an exercise at that meeting. And, we were, remember, he's speaking in front of salespeople that are commission only, very driven.
And you're training in sales and motivational stuff all the time.
Right. And at this point, I was one of the agents, and I sat in front of him, and, proudly, when he asked the question, hey, so how many people in this room closed an account this month, this week? And I said, me. And I said, how about this month? How many? More than one, 2. And it was me, and 3 was me, 4 was me. And I got 5, and I was the only person that had my hand up. And he said, so wait a minute, so you closed 5 accounts this month? And I said, yes, proudly in front of everyone, which at that point they were looking at me too, kind of weird. And he said, all right, so, okay, put your hand down. And he said, all right, so now, if you want to be closed, raise your hand. And it was just this silence. And this is, I think, when he burst my first bubble. And I was like, oh my God, right? So you're sitting there having this aha moment that, I'm driven, I'm bred to run, right? I'm a racehorse for this company. I'm bred to run. And all of a sudden I realized that, someone took my blinders off, that, it's not about that. It's not about that.
And just to quickly share, more specifically, what I was referring to is the idea of people talk about closing people in the sales context. And I'm a high-level influencer and sales trainer, right? Which I haven't done it all on Why Not yet. So I understand how to teach people how to say hello to get people to do something, right? That's what I'm incredibly good at. And that can be done with integrity, or it can be done without integrity. And in the process of, so if I said to you, hey, I'm going to pitch a program to you, and I'm going to close you on that program, how would that feel? You'd feel manipulated, right? You would be like, I don't like that guy.
Right.
And somebody who's a salesperson may go, well, I don't talk to clients, I don't talk to prospects that way. Yeah, but if you're talking about them that way, then you have an integrity breach right off the bat. And this is the level that we're talking about in these why not success formula programs that I've been working through for more than a decade. The way we communicate with ourselves drives our integrity forward. So if I'm off camera talking to Taylor going, man, I got to get up and do this why not huddle today. Oh, these people, and then I'm like, hey, I'm on Why Not. I'm going to feel an integrity breach.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's conditioning yourself to feel and think differently. It's not pretending. It's shaping your life philosophy. And I think that's what you said impacted
Absolutely.
you.
Yep.
And then you took a whole bunch of my stuff, and I think have successfully used it at Aflac. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Now I'm suing Aflac on camera. No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding.
No. Look,
you developed the Callagy Corner.
Absolutely.
Right?
I developed the Callagy Corner. Every month I've been running this program since I got the position in 2014 until this month. I actually did it again. So the Callagy Corner was based on the art of listening and building rapport systematically. And I have my little, I don't let them. There's certain words that are not allowed in our classes anymore. Close being one of them,
right.
Pitch being one of them. Who you're trying to strike out. That's when someone has it.
By the way, we say these are interchangeable.
Right.
For our salespeople out there, people who are interested in being in sales, again, whether you're selling yachts, legal services, accounting services, you're selling your children on staying off drugs, you're selling your children on doing their homework,
Sure.
You're selling your children on going to the gym, yourself on quitting smoking, whatever it is, education, sales, and communication. Communication, sales, and education are all interchangeable words. They all mean the same thing. It means you're conveying a concept to another human being that you want them to take action on. That can be done and used interchangeably without integrity, right? You can manipulate, you can look to steal and lie, do whatever you want to do. But you're not going to sustainably do it if you have integrity breaches. And education, sales, and communication are all interchangeable, the same thing. So quickly, Ray, I know we only have a couple more minutes. Tell me about that, because I'm going to lead to hopefully helping you solve a little bit of a challenge, too. I'm going to have some fun with that. You've dramatically, through these concepts and some distinctions you've created off of these concepts, increased the number of meetings that you're having for your agents. Is that correct? Or new agents, or some stat on that?
Yeah, we have, in some cases using just rapport building, and look, 80-20, right? 80% of people might not even pick up and actually apply this, but 20% of people do. The 20% of people that did take these systems and apply it, they quadrupled their appointments. Not double, they quadrupled. 4 times the appointments.
Quadrupled their appointments.
Yep. And as far as the quote-unquote, their closing ratio, which I call it opening opportunities, right? That they doubled that. So these people have a more effective way now out there. And, the results for those individuals has been astonishing. And, here's what happens to the 80% of the population, too. When you have 20% showing amazing results following a system, the 80% are going to look to them and say, hey, you know what, maybe I should give it a shot, right? And then we got 80-20 happening between those individuals, too. Right. So, yeah, we get a smaller percentage to add to the 20, but that's exactly what's happening.
Well, thank you, right, that's awesome. Now, the challenge I'm going to get to in a second, which is we want to see more relationships move forward from those meetings, right? That's a big goal. And I'm going to tell you a funny anecdote about that. What I'm also going to share with you is that my dream and goal for Why Not is truly to see more people become self-aware and live their life at cause and making their decisions. That is my primary outcome for doing this. And the challenge and the frustration that I've had since I first became self-aware and went on a personal development journey, which really began, you've heard me say this before, when I was in high school and started listening to sports psychology videos, and then during law school I transitioned it to the world of learning, accelerated my ability to learn. And then when I was in my own business and people said I was crazy trying to be an attorney, I went out and started selling legal services, my services, as a 29-year-old, and had tremendous success at an amazingly accelerated rate, applying principles that are duplicatable, can be learned, can be implemented. Now, there's some complexity to it, right? It's the formula, it's your conveyance of your communication skills, and your self-management. Those are the 3 parts to my success formula that, to me, is all-inclusive. What's frustrating for me and help me is I want other people to wake up and to understand that. And whether you're an agent at Aflac, you're somebody who works at Callagy Law, that's my ice maker, I apologize, making noise in the background. You're somebody who's selling, you're somebody who's teaching, you're somebody who dreams, you're a teenager dreaming to go to college and earn a scholarship. To understand that life doesn't work in a linear way. Life works in an exponential way, where the more you work, the more the reward should come easily over time. Maybe not in a month, but in a year, 2, 5, 10. The acceleration is incredible. And so that's the journey I'm challenging people to move on and to really look at their life and wake up in their life. And that's what it was for you, Ray, before we ever met. You lived these same principles to go from living in a gang situation, potentially on a journey to prison, right, to living the life that you're living right now, and it's only one of continuing acceleration. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's the big picture.
Right.
Now the small picture is, why do you think that with a quadrupling of the relationships, you and I have not talked a lot about agreement formation and moving forward, what other salespeople would call closing. And that's not something we spend a lot of time discussing. And it's not what I talked about in the day I didn't talk, with you guys. So it's kind of interesting where it feels like you've applied a portion of my system and gotten fantastic results, and there's a portion we haven't discussed yet.
Sure.
So just as you sit here today, and this is the last 3 or 4 minutes we're going to do on this, what do you think the challenge is as far as why more relationships are moving forward? And I'm going to see if I can help solve that challenge. So go ahead.
In any organization, there are individuals that, they have a certain belief in their own capabilities. And when they are given a systematic or any kind of system moving forward to gain, so they can gain something from it in their own businesses, and they're given that, and they go out there and they apply the system and they fail, it's that's the biggest challenge. And I think fundamentally, and the reason I've had a lot of success with what we have gone through so far, it's been that the first piece has been very important. It's been probably the most important piece, because everything we do, and anybody that does business out there, is because someone likes them. You don't do business with people you don't like. Unless you absolutely have to. right? If you had the option of not doing business with someone you didn't like, you wouldn't do it. Well, what is this? Who decides who likes who, right? You do. So, you know, we were talking about this, you know, and that's why rapport building sessions and rapport training and getting to understand people and make it systematic and make it brief and, you know, and make it effective was so important to the beginning. So it pretty much came down to this. Hey, I like you. I don't even know what you do, but I like you. Let's figure out what you do and see if this is a fit for me.
Right.
And now the second part was, you know, how do you convey what you do to the same level of, you know, effectiveness as you did to the rapport. So that's the part that you have systems for those. And most companies believe that their systems are wonderful, but then after a while, you know, they always seek out, try to find somebody that can make
So let me help with the agreement formation,
yeah.
what other people call the closing stage.
Sure.
And be very, very clear. And this, by the way, is helpful, again, for anything that you want to move an agreement forward. It's not just sales closing, it's all closing in your life. And this is a challenge.
Yeah.
Because if we have people out there who get these videos, right? We have somebody who is a CEO of a high-level corporation or a sales trainer of a national corporation. I've been paid $10,000 to speak for 2 hours to a sales group, okay? $10,000. And what some people give me feedback on these why not talks and how to say, listen, just make it sales specific, make it specific to those people. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I want to bring at-cause solutions to the masses. And if you're a salesperson, and I'm going to say this nicely but directly, and you're too stupid to understand that the principles I'm talking about are specifically about sales, which is the same whether you're a dad trying to convince his child to do homework, or a mom trying to convince her husband to start drinking less and eating better, or you're a salesperson looking to have a $100,000 sale. It is all the same. And you're getting that value here. See that, and you're nuts if you don't. Because I could be paid $10,000 to be saying the same things to a group of people.
Right.
And that's the reality, number one. Number two, here's the process, right? Everything for people is about fear. People fear making mistakes. People fear making commitments, right? People fear subscribing to this video, right? People fear turning the video on. It's fear that drives us. Fear of failure, fear of disappointment, fear of being taken advantage of, fear of making a mistake. It is about fear. So when you're communicating with anyone and you're trying to move forward in a relationship, understand they're afraid. They're afraid that you're going to harm them in some way. So you have to, first of all, see that you have rapport and maintain rapport throughout the entire agreement formation process. That's step one, and we have tools for doing that. Step, which you are well aware of, right? And we've talked about. So that's the context of the conversation, is maintain rapport through the fear of the commitment stage, right? Then you have to draw out their objections. If you do not draw out their objections, so let's say you're talking to your child, and you see your child sitting there like this, and you're communicating, you're not drawing anything out, and there's no objections that you're hearing. So you can't work your way both logically and emotionally through the objections, because our brain works much more emotionally than logically. And often, if you're, let's say you're a dad and it's my homework, son, do you understand where your life is headed if you don't do your homework? What a 14-year-old, that's a logical discussion that's not going to impact their emotional elements, right? We have our two parts of our brain.
Yep.
Yes. So you have to think about how to emotionally reach them and attach it to what they want and what they desire while you're drawing out their objections. You go, well, that sounds really hard and complicated. Yeah, it is. It's really hard and complicated, but not. If you spend a little bit of time learning to master this process, you can work your way through the objection process. What you can't work your way through the objection process, and you can't move agreements forward, my salespeople out there, is when you try to do things by text message, by email, ineffective, no way. Why? Because you're not able to move through to get to the yes. And getting to a yes, there's nothing wrong with it. And by the way, Ray, most yeses occur after the 7th time. Right? 7th time.
Ours is the same.
Right? You got to get no's 6 times. And it's not like, so Ray, do you want to move forward and, buy my, or you buy my Aflac services? No. You sure you want to buy my Aflac service? No. That's not what we're talking about.
No.
It's saying, why not?
Right.
Right? So listen, what's the challenge? What are you really afraid of? What are you concerned about? Draw out the objection. When you're working to get to a yes in any situation, you want to go on a date with somebody, you're working to get through what their objections are, what their fears are, genuinely, with integrity. Because if you believe in your message, whether it's do your homework or buy my services, whatever it is, then you have integrity. And you're realizing that saying yes is correct. If you're not aligned behind that and don't believe in what you're selling, you have a huge problem. And you're never going to be able to sell because you think you're an integrity breach. So my suggestion is maintain rapport throughout the process, understand the fear of the other person. If you sense withdrawal and discomfort and things that are off at some level, you have to say, listen, what is it that's stressing you? What is it that what am I not conveying appropriately that's having you understand that this is really going to be a good thing? I need to think about it. Okay. I would ask the next question. Are you saying you need to think about it because you're blowing me off? Or are you saying you need to think about it because you really need to think? Oh, no, because I really need to think. Great. What are the things you're going to be thinking about? Because I want to help arm you. I want to help you through that process. And I'm not trying to pressure you. I'm trying to honestly help you walk through that process and make a decision. I'm showing you how I genuinely communicate with people in a sales context that I've done for years and years and years and years and years and years, and selling coaching services, selling legal services, selling billing services, convincing kids to do the right thing, work hard, go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. That's what it's all about. Does that help at all? Being honest,
I got to tell you, I'm going to share something on camera that I really hope that, my bottom-driven individuals haven't, shut the computer down, or I hope you get to this point, because I really want to share something very important. Throughout my entire, relationship with Shauna, I never shared any of our training systems with Sean whatsoever. That's correct, right?
Correct, yeah.
I've never done that. Never told him, what we do at Aflac, what kind of trainings we do. It's never been about that. And what he just gave you is something that is ridiculously important. It's probably the most important part of sales, because regardless of what Fortune 500 training that you're getting, or Fortune 200 or Fortune 100, I'm telling you this right now, I've been through all of them. They're all focused on overcoming objections, but they don't focus on getting rid of objections before they become objections. And that is exactly what he just explained, right? Focusing through the fear. Now that, look, I don't care what you're selling and who you're selling it to. It could be you're trying to sell an idea to your wife that you need a motorcycle, right? You could be selling it could be anything, right? It's the fear of unknown is on the other part, right? And their fear of making a mistake by buying into whatever it is that you're selling. So think about that. This fear aspect of it is tremendous. It's so funny. Every time I sit with you, I pick something up, and I take it and I use it in my systems, and I apply it, and I gain. It's not just me gaining something from it. It's masses gaining something from it. So I pray that you're watching this and you actually get something from this, because I can tell you right now, what's going to happen out there is that if you're not showing value to individuals, people will not do business with you. Value, time, and money. If you show somebody their value, they will spend the time and they will give you their money.
It includes kids, it includes friends, it includes somebody going out
Everyone.
with you, right?
Question is, are you really producing value? Are you bringing value to the table? And what is the perception of the person in front of you about the value that you're bringing?
Right.
Are they afraid of that?
Yeah, and I used the word stupid before, so let me talk about that. The only thing that I get negative about and get strong and emphatic about is negativity. Mm-hmm. So I want to crush and destroy negativity. And blocks and cynicism, unjustified, illogical cynicism, makes me bananas. I'll say it directly. I have sold things that are as hard to sell as anything you can conceive of. The legal services of a 29-year-old, me, to people who had massive, major lawsuit problems. I don't care what you're selling. I will challenge you and say, that was the hardest thing nothing could be harder to sell. Maybe you're equal to, nothing could be harder than that. Imagine a man who is sued for insurance fraud, whose picture is on the newspaper, right? Coming in with his wife and saying, okay, wife, this is one of the attorneys we're considering, and I was 29, I looked 22. Now, I knew I was the right person for the job, but do you think his wife thought I was the right person for the job? With their life riding on it? These principles work. I've honed them over decades now. Decades. Please spread the word. Please tune in. There's so much nonsense and gibberish, all this stuff out there. It's let me poke in here and look at this and look at all of that. Be here consistently. It's free. It's awesome. Spread the word. Make this go. Keep me fired up and motivated to keep doing this, please, right? I'm at cause, but it also helps. When the numbers go up, I'm having fun looking at the numbers grow. Spread this word. Ray, any final closing words?
This has changed my life, and it's continuing to change my life. And I'm one of those people that, it's not just here. I look everywhere to try to find things that are going to improve me. and hopefully you're one of those individuals to just watch, right? Just watch. You'll gain a lot out of it.
Brother, I thank you. I appreciate it. Be well, my friend.
Thank you very
All right?
much.
And thanks for coming in today.
Of
We'll
course,
see you
thanks.
soon. Why not
Take care.
talk number 2?
All right.